What if the name Moses was carved into stone almost 3,800 years ago, deep in an Egyptian turquoise mine? 2 short lines, a handful of letters, and a claim that, if true, would be the earliest inscriptional trace of one of history's most influential figures. Our story begins at Serabit el-Khadim on the Sinai Peninsula. For centuries, Egyptian expeditions came here to mine turquoise, and they built a desert temple to Hathor, the Lady of Turquoise. Among the Egyptian stelae and shrines, researchers have long noticed something unusual: a set of rough, early alphabetic inscriptions carved by Semitic-speaking workers who labored alongside Egyptians. These are the famous Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions, some of the earliest steps toward the alphabet we use today. Scholars believe this alphabet emerged around the Middle Kingdom, roughly the late 19th to 18th centuries BCE, when Semitic workers adapted Egyptian hieroglyphs to write their own language. Other early carvings at Wadi el-Hul in Egypt point to the same time frame. This is where our letters begin. In July 2025, an independent researcher named Michael S. Bar-Ron published a detailed study arguing that 2 of these Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions contain marks that read like signatures. This is from MSH, and a saying of MSH. He suggests MSH could be an early rendering of the name Moses. Working from high-resolution images and 3-dimensional scans, he proposed that the position and direction of these sign groups look like author attributions placed beside the main texts. If correct, that would be the first inscriptional reference to Moses outside the Bible. The claim quickly drew global attention. Supporters see it as a fascinating new angle on both biblical history and the origins of the alphabet. Even they emphasize, however, that it is still only a proposal, not a proven fact. If these carvings truly say "from Moses" or "an utterance of Moses," they would place a named Moses in the Middle Kingdom period, much earlier than the traditional timeline that links him to the reign of Ramesses II. This wouldn't prove the Exodus, but it would be the earliest extra-biblical naming of Moses. Here's something important. The name Moses, or Moshe, is thought to be related to the Egyptian word mes, or MSJ, meaning born of, or child. It appears in names like Thutmose, meaning born of Thoth, or Ramoz, born of Ra. The name Moses also appears as a stand-alone personal name in ancient Egyptian records. That means the letters MSH in an inscription could be a name, but not necessarily the Moses of the Bible. Letter shapes alone can't carry the claim. Context is everything. Several scholars urge caution. Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions are rare and often damaged. The letter forms can be read in multiple ways. Short texts and weathered carvings make confident readings risky. The letters MSH could represent a different name, a different word, or even be misread entirely. Experts stress that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Multiple inscriptions with clear repeated patterns, secure dating, and independent verification. Regardless of whether these marks truly name Moses, Serabit el-Khadim remains one of the cradles of the earliest alphabet. Semitic workers here took the complex system of Egyptian signs and distilled it into a set of consonants, a revolutionary simplification that would eventually evolve into Phoenician, Greek, Latin, and the modern alphabets we use every day. This leap in writing began in a remote desert mine under Egyptian rule, where cultures met and ideas flowed. So, did they carve Moses on that rock? The evidence is intriguing, but not proven. The inscriptions are real and important. The Moses reading is a hypothesis awaiting the rigorous tests of scholarly review. Whether or not the marks name the Moses of history, they point to something just as powerful: the birth of the alphabet, the tool that would carry humanity's laws, stories, and ideas for millennia. This discovery also highlights the meeting point between archaeology, linguistics, and theology, a rare place where science and belief brush against each other. It invites us to look deeper, to challenge our assumptions, and to accept that history still hides countless secrets beneath the sands. The stones at Serabit el-Khadim whisper across nearly 4,000 years. What do you hear in them? A man's name, a piece of scripture, or the very first letters of the story of civilization? If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient evidence and modern debate, don't forget to tap subscribe. We are bringing new mysteries every week.